Welcome back to the Saturday SITREP, everybody. CB Harris here. So today I want to talk to you guys. I want to give you guys a top 5 list of lessons learned from some recent classes that we taught at my work. Now, I work at a military training school where we teach tactics and military individual movement techniques and shooting and things like that. Mostly what I teach is those small team tactics as well as counter IED. So I don't really I get to witness the shooting part, but I don't necessarily instruct that part of it. But I think some of these lessons that were learned can be applied into our daily lives, as well as if we're ever involved in any sort of active shooter or a attack of some sort. So hopefully you guys will get something out of them, and I would love to hear from you guys. I would love to hear if you guys have any kind of lessons learned like this as well. So number 5 is train how you fight. Now, this is one of those things that's tough because I know when it's cold, it's windy, and miserable outside, I don't want to go to the range. I don't want to go out and do that sort of thing. Obviously, we kind of make our students do that. There are times where the weather's just too severe and we don't. But the best thing you can do is try to train in those situations. And the reason why is if you've experienced something similar before, it tends to make the situation easier to handle. What the problem is you can be overwhelmed very quickly. You know, yes, there's an active shooter going on, but holy crap, it's windy, it's cold, I'm miserable, and that just compounds the problem. But if you've already trained in those type of situations, you're going to be ahead of the power curve. You need to train, for as many different situations as you can think of. It'd be best if you could train in those locations where you think something might happen. Obviously, that's going to be difficult to do if you live in an urban environment. It's hard to train for that sort of thing, for an attack in a restaurant or things like that. But you can train in your house. You can do dry fire training. Just be very careful that you're not having any ammo nearby, but you can actually kind of practice those things in your home as well. So definitely train how you fight. Number 4, this one's kind of an unusual one. Don't hold the spoon. Okay, I know that sounds like some diet advice, but that's not what I'm talking about. So this one's a funny story. So what we had was we had an individual who we were doing M84 training. So M84 is a flashbang, stun grenade, whatever you want to call it. And we had been telling everybody, make sure you pick up your stuff. Okay, pick up the pins, pick up the spoon. We're cleaning up, right? We want to make sure we don't leave anything out. Well, this person got it in their mind that the bright idea would be, hey, if I just hang on to the spoon, well, I don't have to pick it up. Well, that doesn't always work for you. And what happened was the M84 went up, and straight back down at their feet. Yeah, they had the spoon in their hand, sure enough. But an M84 is not very effective when you use it on yourself instead of your enemy. You've just given them the advantage instead of yourself. Now, what does that have to do with the practical world, the real world, I should say? Is, you know what, sometimes there are techniques that we think, hey, I've got a better way to do it. Think it through first, okay? Think of different things that could go wrong, and you might see that the tried and true methods are better. You know what, maybe your way is an improved way, but sometimes, especially if you're doing it because of pure laziness, because you don't want to bend over and pick something up, you may want to consider doing it the right way, as opposed to the easy way that you think is going to be the easy way. Okay, number 3, sometimes you just got to shut up and listen. Now, this case is during the exercises, what we'll have is students, they're trying to communicate with each other. We don't give them radios. The OPFOR, okay, the bad guys don't get radios either. But we listen. As OPFOR, we'll listen and hear what the students are talking about. They will jam up in a building and we can hear them. We're right on the other side of the wall from them. We can hear them talking and coming up with a plan. And all they would have to do is listen, and they would hear us. Instead, they get so wrapped up around talking to each other and yelling at each other and coming up with a plan that sometimes they get frozen up and they don't do anything. And other times, they've just given away exactly what they're going to do. So sometimes you just need to listen. And I think it's the same in that active shooter situation where, yes, coming up with a plan is great, but sometimes you need to listen and hear where that gunman is, where that attack is going to be coming from. Sometimes you just need to be quiet, listen, and find out what's going on. Okay, number 2, a leader, they might be hiding among us. You might be surprised who's going to step up and be a leader. It might be you. I know a lot of people think that they couldn't do things like that, but you might surprise yourself. In a recent class that we had, this was a mixed class of lower enlisted as well as lower officers, and it's a class where they don't have any rank. Okay, so they're given a roster number only. All rank goes out. Everybody is treated the same in the course, and at some point they after the first couple of days they pick 2 leaders, one for each team, and that's who's going to lead those teams. In this case, at the end of the course, when we discovered, they were 2 E3s. Now these E3s, the very lower ranking enlisted, really stepped up, really led well. We had seen some potential in them in the first couple of days, and they did not fail to deliver. Really surprised me and showed me that age sometimes isn't what makes you a leader. I mean, that can help, age and experience, but sometimes it's just that natural charisma, that natural intelligence, and being able to stop and think things through before just rushing headlong into something. I was very impressed with both of these. It was one male and one female, and it was a very good thing to see. So you might be surprised who is capable of stepping up and becoming a leader. Okay, number 1, practice a lot. Can I say it again? Practice a lot. Most of our courses are fairly short, 2 weeks or less. We have some that are longer, but it's just not enough time to really practice and get things down. I know people have talked about muscle memory and really getting that ingrained in and being able to do things second nature. I don't like the term muscle memory, and I'm going to actually do a video about that at a future date, but it's a conditioned response. It's practice. It's being able to practice things so many times, so repetitively, that it becomes a subconscious act where you're given a set of circumstances. Somebody does this, I react this way. My handgun locks to the rear, I know exactly what to do. I assess, make sure there's no jams, I clear, I do a reload. And I can do that so second nature that I don't have to think about it anymore. The only way to get there is practice, and practice a lot. The students in our courses, they just get a very basic, they don't get a lot of practice time. I mean, they do some on their own after the course day is over. A lot of students will practice on their own, but it's really just not enough to really get it down. So if you go to a training course, say a defensive handgun or a home defense course or something like that, remember that. They're giving you the basics, they're giving you the tools, and then you have to take those home and practice them. And you need to practice them a lot. That's the only way to get better at something. Now you've got some knowledge, now you need to get that put into your subconscious mind so that you can do it without thinking about it. And again, practice, practice, practice. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed the list today, and I hope you guys got something out of it. I would love to hear from you guys, so leave any comments you might have down below. Now, next up on the Life or Death Files, we're going to talk about, this one was a shooting that took place this was in Holland, Michigan, and what happened was, it was at a party store. It was about 10:30 at night, and there was a male customer who started beating and assaulting a female customer, and I'm not sure if they were together. It didn't really specify in the article, but a person walking by saw this. This person who was walking by is a concealed carry permit holder. They entered the store, tried to break up the fight, and then they were assaulted as well by this attacker. The concealed carry permit holder drew out their handgun, shot the attacker twice. The attacker is in critical condition. Now, the female who was attacked, she has stated multiple times that she felt her life was in danger. She was certain that she was going to get beaten to death and that she would be dead without this person intervening. Thankfully, the police and the prosecutors agree, and they are not charging this Good Samaritan with anything. He was in his rights and did the right thing. That's something that's tough. He could have just kept on walking. He really could have. He wasn't involved with anything. He was walking on the outside of the store. He could have just left it at that. And what we would hear is a tragic story of a woman being beaten to death in a party store. Instead, he intervened and did the right thing and stopped it from happening. Unfortunately, he had to use his firearm. But thankfully, he had the right to have that firearm, and he had it with him so that he could react to the situation that took place. So definitely did the right thing, and the prosecutors and the police are doing the right thing there in Holland, Michigan as well. So next on What's New, this is the Crimson Trace Linq. And the Crimson Trace Linq, it's a very unique item. I'm very interested in it. This is a pretty cool little thing. What it is a light laser combination for your rifle. Okay, so for AR style rifle, and what it is it has a wireless control unit that is your pistol grip. So your pistol grip has buttons on it and things, and it wirelessly connects to the light and laser module that you have up front to control the light, to turn it on, off, the laser on and off, all the different modes you can control from your pistol grip. Pretty cool idea. The laser is a green laser, so pretty good. I like green lasers. You can see them a little bit better in the daylight, so that's a plus if you ask me. It has a 300 lumen light, not necessarily the brightest, but I believe that a 300 lumen it's decently bright. Okay, it has they claim it's longer than 2-hour battery life, so more than 2 hours. Pretty good if you ask me as well. A decent amount of time for it, especially constant on. That's pretty good. Now the price. That's where it gets a little rough. $649. Yes, $649. That's a bit pricey. That's out of my price range for an item like this. And there is a good thing, though. There is a silver lining to this. When you have a company that comes out with something new and innovative like this, you're going to have other companies, maybe not copycat, but you're going to have other companies kind of come up with a similar system. They're going to come up with some way to do the same thing. I think that's a good thing. That healthy competition is what's going to bring that price down. So I wouldn't expect to see it come down within the next year or so, but 5 years from now, I would expect that we're going to see quite a few different offerings of different companies putting stuff out there, and we're going to see some pretty decent prices for what you're getting there. So anyway, I'm pretty excited about that. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show today, and if you did, it is always appreciated when you like and share the videos. If you guys have any ideas for future videos, whether it's for the Saturday SITREP or for the Gear Freak that takes place on Thursdays, go ahead and either leave it down in the comment section below, or you could send me an email at bombbuster72@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you guys. And if you are not a subscriber and you want to see more videos like this one, find that subscribe button down below, put your crosshairs on it, pull the trigger on your mouse, and then come back next Saturday for another Saturday SITREP. And remember, your mind, that's your most important weapon, and it's vital to be armed with information. Until next time, take care and be safe. Charlie Bravo, out.